Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
It is sure easy to believe these days that the only way you could possibly have any fun or any success hunting or improving your habitat for that matter is to have countless acres and more money than God himself. You know what? We live in a capitalist space system. That's an awesome thing. Huge fan right here. I would not be doing what I'm doing if we didn't. Here's the rub though. Our capitalistic system also tries to teach us that you have to spend money on everything. You don't. There's still all sorts of people out there hunting with longbows. There's all sorts of people out there hunting with recurves. Okay? And guess what? To them, to a lot of them, compounds are cheating. And then there's a whole bunch of us out there hunting with compounds, where I can go ahead and grab one of my Matthewses today, and I can go out and I can hit a target like this at 100 yards with it, because I practice at those distances, which is a great tip. Practice long distance, because man, when you can make those shots, those 20, 30-yard shots sure seem easy. But the point is no matter what you're using, if you're using that those crossbows aren't fair. If you're using a crossbow, those shotguns and muzzle loaders aren't fair. If you're using a shotgun, those high-powered rifles aren't fair. If it's legal, it's fair, period. And then it's just up to us to figure out what we enjoy. But we don't have to go ahead, and as much as it helps, we don't have to have that brand new Matthews. We don't have to have that deer rifle with that scope that can go ahead and pluck a deer at 500 yards. We don't. So the first deer I ever killed was with a 45-pound Shakespeare recurve that I got off of paper out money. The second deer I killed was with a 30-30 that jammed after the first shot every single time. Okay. The third deer I killed was with an Allen compound. There are all sorts of people that tag all sorts of animals every single year without spending a ton of money. Forget about the marketing. Forget about what the overwhelming majority of people like me say. Because the overwhelming majority of people like me, we never hunt like you do. That is great. I can sit here and stand on a soapbox and I can talk about how up until COVID hit, I ended up scaling back then because of the people that truly needed it. But up until COVID hit, I went ahead and I hunted public land every single season of my life. But you know what? Even with me doing those types of things, I have all sorts of advantages. And it's really easy for me to pretend that I've got these secrets figured out that, man, if you don't have this product, if you don't pay me so I can share that, you're not going to be able to get that deer. Baloney. Learn whitetails. Learn the habitat. When it comes to public ground and any pressure deer, learn other hunters. If you invest your time into those things, you learn deer, you learn hunters, you learn habitats, you are going to be successful. Are you going to be killing stuff like this? That I cannot promise. It depends on where you hunt. Because the single worst judge of quality of a hunter is what they have on their walls behind their heads when they're talking. Most of these bucks here came from places that I guarantee you all would do great on. Now, if you looked at the other wall that I'm looking at, you'd end up seeing a whole bunch of bucks that came from public ground. They don't look as good as these back here. They don't. But if you invest your time into learning deer, if you invest your time into learning the habitat, if you invest your time on pressure ground by learning other hunters so you are where they're not, because that's how deer survive to get to be mature on heavily pressured grounds, all of that is going to mean so much more than how much you spent on hunting this year. Yes, investments can help. They can help a ton. But really, properly applied knowledge is where the power is. And then if you really want to kill big stuff, hunt where it is. You hunt where it is, and the worst hunters are going to kill really big things. You hunt where they're not, and the best hunters won't.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
It's really easy to believe that we need to spend so much money to be successful in deer hunting. The whole catch is though we really don't. What we need to invest in is learning those whitetails, learning the habitat that they live in, and then if you're talking about pressured ground, learning other hunters. Because the whitetails are not going to get to be mature on that ground by doing what they're supposed to. So figure out what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. You do those types of things and you do not have to have deep pockets to experience success hunting.